Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we will be discussing from the 14th verse of the 12th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hiranyam Gam Mahim Graman Hasti Ashwan Nrupatir Varan Pradat Swannam Cha Viprebhyaha Prajatirthe Sa Tirthavit. The meaning of this verse is: upon the birth of his son, the king, who knew how, where and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villages, elephants, horses and good food grains to the Brahmanas. Particularly in this verse it is said, Prajatirthesa Tirthavit. On the occasion of giving in charity on the birth of his son, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he gave charity because he knew, Tirthavit, he knew how to give charity, to whom charity should be given and when it should be given. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, only the Brahmanas and Sannyasis are authorized to accept charity from the householders. Specifically from the householders. And only the Brahmanas and Sannyasis in the Varnashrama system can accept charity. It doesn't say, scriptures don't prescribe, poor people should be given charity. No, that is not the correct understanding. Dana, charity or dakshina is only given to Brahmanas and Sannyasis for the spiritual service they render to service, spiritual service they render to the society free of charge. The dakshina that is given or dana that is given to a Brahmana or Sannyasi is not a prescribed charge for the services rendered. No, there is no such prescription anywhere in the scriptures. Neither a Brahmana will ever ask that you give me this much fees for some consultation or for some service I may render. No, never, never. So this is Vedic culture. You see, the best of the service is regards giving advice, giving guidance, giving any helping in any way to conduct a sacrifice or to worship the Lord or to prepare an horoscope or to do any of these Brahmanical activities or to teach the Vedas. Never will a Brahmana charge anyone who seeks the services of a Brahmana. Never, never he will charge. So then, how do they maintain themselves? This is the way. They are given dakshina, they are given dana by the householders without any consideration of how much the householders are benefiting, how much service they are taking. No, no such consideration. So, it is said here specifically, in all the different occasions of samskaras, especially during the time of birth, marriage and death, wealth is distributed to the Brahmanas because the Brahmanas gave the highest quality of service in regard to the prime necessity of humankind. What is the prime necessity of a human being? Spiritual upliftment, spiritual elevation, progress towards the ultimate goal of life. In that regard, the Brahmanas are giving the highest quality of service. Because such service is not ordinarily possible to be obtained from anyone else other than qualified learned Brahmanas who are engaged in tapasya, who are engaged in constantly worshipping the Lord, in constantly studying the scriptures, in constantly performing welfare activity for the entire human society, not only human society, for the entire world of all living creatures. Foolish people don't understand this. So, such Brahmanas deserve to get dakshina, dana, especially during 3 occasions: birth, marriage and death. It must be given. The charity was substantial in the shape of gold, land, villages, horses, elephants and food grains with other materials for cooking, complete foodstuff. So the Brahmanas were not therefore poor in the actual sense of the term. Proper qualified Brahmanas who were properly given charity, they were not exactly poor. Though they would never make a show of wealth. They never made a show of wealth. They lived a simple life. Even though they had in form of dakshina or dana all these things which are given, but they never made a show of that, neither they exploited the system to become very, very rich and become extravagant in spending, or simply indulge in sense enjoyment with dana or dakshina that they receive. No, never. On the other hand, they will be always austere in their mode of living, tapasya, and they will be simple and straightforward in all their dealings, and they will be very benevolent to the general people in society, always willing to do welfare activity for everyone in the society. Because they possessed gold, land, villages, horses, elephants and sufficient grains, they had nothing to earn for themselves. There was no need for them to earn some money for their own maintenance. They would simply devote themselves to the well-being of the entire society. It's so nice a system that somebody is fully devoted for the welfare of the society, and they don't have to bother to find out some means of earning some money for their own maintenance. Their maintenance is taken care of, and they simply give very good service to the whole society, everyone. Now, the word that is used here, tirthavit, is significant in this verse, because the king, that is Yudhishthira Maharaj, knew well where and when charity has to be given. Yudhishthira Maharaj was aware. He was enlightened. He was Rajarshi. He was a saintly king. So he knew when and where charity has to be given. Charity is never unproductive or blind. It means charity has got a purpose. Giving charity is purposefully given. And it is given with due consideration of who is the person who is to be given charity, and when it is to be given, and where should it be given. the place, the time, the candidate for receiving charity, all these are very clearly explained in the scriptures. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that charity should be given in the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness means following the scriptures. It's regulated. Only Brahmanas and Sannyasis should be given charity. And these Brahmana Sannyasis do accept charity because they don't have any other means of livelihood. For their maintenance, they have no other job or profession or work or some income or some wealth. They don't have anything like that. And whatever service they give it free of charge, always. Anyone who comes needs some service, they give it free of charge, totally free, 100% free. Never there is any consideration of charges. That is a true Brahmana, a true sannyasi. So, Kali Yuga, we only know that people who are expert in some field of learning, they have fees, they charge fees, professional fees, and the government collect taxes on those fees, you see. So it has become what we can say as commercial, a commercial venture. But Vedic culture is Brahmanas are never commercially oriented. Neither the government or the king would charge any tax on the Brahmanas. Never Brahmanas are taxed. Kshatriyas will tax only Vaishyas who are business minded. Only Vaishyas are taxed. And Kshatriyas don't collect taxes from other Kshatriyas. And Kshatriyas don't collect any tax from Brahmanas and Shudras. So only Vaishyas are the ones who give taxes. And only the Kshatriyas collect such taxes to engage in welfare activity for the whole society, for all the citizens, welfare of the citizens. They collect taxes, and in return they give protection to the citizens, and they ensure that the society is properly maintained. The common facilities for the people in the state or the kingdom are properly maintained. So Srila Prabhupada says further, in the Shastras, charity was offered to persons who deserved to accept charity by dint of spiritual enlightenment. You see, who can receive charity? One who is spiritually enlightened. Whether it's a Brahmana or a sannyasi, both of them are supposed to be spiritually enlightened. And nowadays, what goes on in the name of Daridra Narayana? So Srila Prabhupada says, the so-called Daridra Narayana, a misconception of the Supreme Lord by unauthorized persons, is never to be found in the Shastras as the object of charity. Daridra means somebody who is poverty-stricken. And a poverty-stricken person sometimes is designated wrongly as Daridra Narayana. Narayana is never Daridra, and Daridra can never become Narayana. So this is completely wrong. Combining these two terms and designating some poor people as object of charity wrongly is a total misconception. Because the Supreme Lord is always having unlimited opulences. By definition, Bhagavan. Bhaga means opulences. Van means one who possesses. And to what extent? Unlimited. And a poverty-stricken man is poverty-stricken because of his sinful past. Because of his sinful past. So never consider a poverty-stricken man as Narayana. So there is a difference between giving charity to spiritually enlightened persons and helping some poor people who may be needy, who may be in need. The difference between the two. A needy person should be shown compassion, daya, not dana, not dakshina. What is called daya? Daya means you want to help somebody who is in need because you have the means to share. You have little excess, so you share it with somebody who is in need. That is called daya, compassion. It is not dana. Don't confuse the two. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.